Got the record.
Yeah. Any takeaways from today's movie?
Baba gave contrast of devotion and knowledge, and a lot of things like Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar, how he comes, what he does when he comes. We become Brahmin, it's Brahma born, Vanshavali, what is it called? Progeny, and all of that. He says, no one knows apart from you. So it's part of the knowledge he gives when he comes. That's how he started off the Murli, and we'll let others share.
Angela, if you want to share, or Rita, some notes or something? No problem if you can't speak.
Yeah, there is something else in the blessing. In the blessing, Baba said, be fearless, authority of knowledge. That was quite nice. And tell, everyone the Father of all of us is one, that he carries out this task. Only he can do that. And all of us are children of his, and he's the true one. But at the end, he said that the sanskar of God is one will emerge when we, come down in golden age. And this is the awareness in golden age. But we know we don't really know of God as such, but maybe something to do with the awareness of soul is like godlike awareness in that sense, maybe. So maybe you can clarify that.
Yeah.
Question.
Even in the Murli,
so-
the middle of it, he does touch on this. What's the awareness in the new world versus, and he the highest on high, that part of the Murli today. It's quite an interesting perspective. Yeah, let's look at that as well. So today's Murli, the whole Murli, the main theme of the Murli today is creation. Rajyoga, the knowledge of this creation, which gives us the knowledge of the creator and the creation, what is being created. So it's the creation of the new world and the destruction of the old world, the world of Ravan and the world of devotion. Baba always says, in many Murlis, the world of devotion, sometimes he says devotion is actually worse than, studying the scriptures is actually worse than having, just Lokic studies. I don't know whether you remember that. He said that in many movies. That means actually, the devotional sanskaras are very, very damaging because they're very dependent. They're dependent sanskaras. So today, when Baba talks about the destruction of the old world, he's actually talking about the destruction of these devotional sanskaras, sanskaras of dependency, sanskaras of begging, sanskaras of the limited, which is what he's talking about. So hence the whole Murli is on creation today. Om Shanti to Daniel and Amrita as well. So then it says the creator. And so the whole thing is on the creation and the creator. So he is the creator of the whole of creation. And he says in devotion, you have all the limited, the limited Krishna to a little temple, etc., etc. So, and then he talks about Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar. Right? So he starts off by creating the subtle region. And who are the so-called residents of the subtle region? Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar. So he's giving us, step by step, how creation takes place. So he's the seed of that creation. He's the, what is the word I'm looking for here? Catalyst, right? To start the whole process. So the first thing he starts off with is the creation of the subtle region. So reference to Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar. And then secondly, what does he do? Creation through the adoption. So he enters the body, he adopts his son, right? He calls him his son, Prajapitha Brahma. And then he gives us an introduction to the meaning of Prajapita. So Prajapita does exactly the same thing, right? So just as how God adopted Prajapita and created Prajapita, he renamed Dada Lake Raj to Prajapitha Brahma. So he created Prajapitha Brahma. Prajapitha Brahma does the same has the same responsibility of adoption. He adopts children and creates mouth-born children, which are the Brahmins. So the children of Brahma are the Brahmins. So this is sort of the foundation of creation. So without all these players, there is no creation. So the catalysts, Baba calls himself today the highest on high. So Father of all souls, the catalyst for creation is him. So therefore, he creates all of, what does he create? The new world, heaven, which is the highest consciousness because he's the highest on high. And how does he create this? He doesn't come and just wave a magic wand. You know, yesterday's Mama's Murli, he says, if I want, I can do that, but I don't do that. So how does he create it? Today's Murli, he tells us, by making us sensible, which means he gives us all of the knowledge. Everything which is in him is given to us. Yeah. So creation necessarily involves the destruction of the old world, which means the Mahabharata war. Yeah. So you can see step by step by step by step, he's laying how creation actually started. So very beautifully he unfolds this out in the Murli. And then he goes straight for the jugular, where he mentions devotion. Because as we started just now, we said, this is the most damaging sanskara which all of us have. Right? So, and Baba mentions this as well. What are the sanskaras which we have? Which means we only remember God, the devotees, it says, only remember God when there is sorrow, right? So there's a remembrance and calling out. But that Baba says there's no attainment in that. There is only a temporary reward for that sort of remembrance, because it is inaccurate. Baba says, they think of a Shivaling and then they beg. And many Murulis, Baba says, actually, you cannot get anything from Shiva. Do you remember those Murulis? Baba says, he's nothing. He's a tapasvi, right? So they actually go and beg him. They go to the Shivaling and pray for health, wealth, happiness. When actually Shiva is the greatest. He's the Mahakal, right? He transforms. So this habit of remembrance is something in devotion, remembering during times of sorrow. Okay. Second thing Baba says, we're believing that God gives both happiness and sorrow, and that also comes from devotion. Right? So damaging. But actually we know that he's only the bestower of happiness. Right? The creation of sorrow starts from us, from the Copper Age onwards. And then thirdly, he says they don't know the Father of all souls. He is the highest on high. Right? Because they believe that everything, all the idols in the temple, everything is God, and also omnipresence. That's the fourth one. God is in them, it's in me, it's in you, it's in everything else, in the pebbles and stones, etc. But Baba is underlining, saying, no, that is not the case. Everyone is a child of God. So there is only one God, and all other souls, all souls are children of God, one Father. And this fact will be accepted at the end towards destruction. The destruction occurs when all souls accept one Father, which means that's a destruction of this belief in religion, in devotion. So the devotional sanskaras get wiped out at the end, by which time it's too late for most souls. So that the sanskara of devotion gets wiped out at the end. And that's that brings about purity. So Baba is saying everyone is definitely a child of God. And he gives beautiful, beautiful counter arguments against omnipresence. Baba says, you are a soul, that is your body, there is no other thing there. Soul, body, done. There is no God in there as well. There's no God in the mix. And if you remember other Murlis, he says, your body is karmically created by you. Anyone recalls that? A few Murlis have said that. All our bodies are karmically determined and created by us. So that's a sub-point in today's Murli. Again, just to repeat the theme of today's Murli is creation. So we create our own bodies. There is no other. God is not involved in that process. There is no third person in creation of that body of ours. So there is no God in there. God was in there, the body would be perfect. Soul would be perfect. There will be no imperfections. And also, he says, logically, in devotion, we say, we don't call somebody, we say Jiv Atma, which is, how do you translate this now? Living being, right? Jiv is life, living. Atma is the soul, right? Living soul, living being. But you don't call a person Jiv Paramatma. You don't call them the living supreme soul. There is no such terminology. Right? So he's giving us various arguments against omnipresence. So again, the context of omnipresence, context of these beliefs, he mentions those 4 or 5 points on devotion. Why is he mentioning that? Because that's what blocks acceptance of the one God and acceptance of the Creator and the knowledge of the beginning, middle, and end. Because in devotion, cycle is 42,000 years more to go, etc. So there are a plethora of belief systems in the scriptures. So that's why it's mentioning that. So that's the blockage, right? And that's what Baba has come to destroy. Destruction is transformation of that belief system. And how Baba says he's made us sensible, which means he gives us the knowledge and we are the sub-catalysts, if you like, to bring about that transformation. And he's telling us that no one else can do this because no one else can be as sensible as Brahmins. And I actually experienced this the other day. I mean, I met this person who's very, very, clever and very intelligent from a philosophical perspective. It's a great philosopher, right? And just a small point, there wasn't a debate or anything. We're just talking about our question asked of me was, what is Rajyoga? Because the person found out that I was, because I'd taken some time out to go to do a little retreat and meditation, etc. So it explained in two minutes. And the first question came up was on omnipresence. And I was thinking to myself, this person is that intellect was absolutely amazing intellect. He's got all the various scriptural philosophies in his head. But this one thing, and, some of Baba's points brought it up to say, logical, right? You can't have God and souls. Just couldn't accept it. Just couldn't. And that's what Baba is mentioning, that there is no one else can be more sensible. You just think how lucky we are. I mean, I don't have that kind of an intellect. It's absolutely amazing intellect, but it's understanding God, which is what Baba says. Acceptance and understanding of this knowledge, only certain souls have that in their horoscope, honestly, literally. And you just feel so grateful that, we are the chosen ones in this path of knowledge. So Baba is saying, not even the deities are this sensible. Yeah. So they are not as sensible. So what does sensible mean actually? What does Baba actually mean by the word sensible? when he says, you know, you are the most sensible, not even deities are as sensible as you. Any thoughts?
It's the understanding of the knowledge, isn't it? As well.
Yes.
Because Baba
Yes.
uses the word samaj in Hindi,
Yes.
that I give you that samaj, understanding.
Yes. And I remember in one of the Murlis, Baba said, I think it is a 2023 Murli, I think I got a date, I was just referring to it yesterday. Baba said, the soul cannot see itself, right? But you can experience yourself. You know you are the one who is the animator of this body. That is you. So you can know, there is knowledge, there is a knowing that you are. Similarly, you cannot see God, but you can have a knowing that God is. It's very beautiful, Murli. Anyone wanted to say something? I thought I heard something. Yeah. So it's that complete understanding of this knowledge which makes us sensible. So Baba says the deities, they don't know. And if they knew, they would not have that absolute happiness which they experience in the golden and silver ages, because they experience eternity, infinity. That's what they experience. There's no beginning, there is no end. There is just unending joy and happiness. Complete. But we, despite the old sanskaras, the two things in Mama's Murli yesterday, the old sanskaras, your sanskaras and your karmic accounts, despite that, despite living in the world of Ravan, this knowledge, from this knowledge, we experience super sensuous joy, complete, knowing the whole cycle, knowing that there will be the downfall, knowing that there will be an ascent after that. So knowing the cycle and knowing who we are and knowing who God is gives us that happiness. That is sensibility. So we remain in that super sensuous happiness because we know how this cycle turns, and we know how Bharat becomes poor once again, but it ascends once again. So it is just a drama for us. So it's quite a point, that one, when you think about it, just how much we know and what is the consciousness we should be in, and who is the one who is directly, who we are listening to directly. It's God himself, the highest on high. And what's the second consciousness Baba was talking about is the airship, where we make Baba our air, which means everything is surrendered. It's like a child. A child surrenders everything to its parent, carefree. Child doesn't think about where it's next meal it's coming from, what's going to happen to my parent, nothing. Just lying there, having a great time. That's it. Complete dependence and reliance on its parents, with complete nischay, which is not the word faith. What's the word Prashant likes to use? Anyone, please? What is the word Prashant likes to use? Conviction that this is it. This is my parents and I'm entitled to the inheritance, and that's it. Like complete airship. So everything is surrendered. And once that surrender takes place, Baba surrenders himself. This is what Baba is saying. Yeah. This is a very deep matter, he says, because everything then is exchanged. He says, many more release your bags and give me your bags and baggages. Hi, Danielle. Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I found this really interesting, this point. It's the first time I've had like another relationship with God, actually, like as your heir, as your child. And it made me think of in this physical world, you do see those parents who make their whole world their child and would surrender anything and sacrifice anything for that child, because of the huge amount of attachment, well, and love, and also probably the idea that, you know, that child is what goes on once they're no longer there. So I just thought that was really interesting to think about, because yeah, like it's a new relationship to kind of ponder over, like your relationship with God, how much you cherished God as a child, as if it was a child, your child.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, a very beautiful Murli on this actually, where all relationships with the father, which was mentioned also in Mama's Murli yesterday, but I can't remember the date. I think it's in the 70s, where Baba focused on this child. He says it's not a baby child, but it's it's like a 7 to 10-year-old child. So you take God as if he's your child, because he can do things for you. You know, it's like a baby means you can't, you know, do anything. So when you take Baba as your child, you can say, oh, Baba, you know, help me do this, that, and the other. So you can actually consider Baba to be your child, which means you're surrendering everything. And the other thing he mentioned in that Murli was, when you have a mother and child relationship, he says, you know, when the mother is with the child, when the child is a baby, the mother's intellect is always linked to the child, although the mother may be doing other things. The mother may be cleaning the house, cooking the food, or going to work, or what have you. But there is always that in the back of her mind, remembrance of the child, even when the child starts to grow up. And this is the kind of remembrance. It says, once you do that, I surrender myself to you because I am the perfect child. Can't remember the date of that Murli. I don't know whether, I know Swati, you read a lot of that Murlis, etc., whether you can remember the date of that. And so this...
I think I just remember the title of that Murli, like, whether it's the same or different, but Sar Sambandh was the starting point of that Murli. And I can search and let you know. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll look for it myself as well. Yes. So once this this relationship occurs, then everything is exchanged. Right? So whatever we have, we give it to our child. And what do we have now in this old world? All our devotional sanskaras, the old karmic accounts, the old sanskaras, all that we carry, the bags and baggages, the burdens. Baba says, give that to me. That is what I want. And that is also the meaning of Manmana Bhav. When we are giving all this to Baba, that's Manmana Bhav. Give your mind to me, because it's there where you carry all this burdens, sanskaras, in your subconscious mind. And give that to me. And I will exchange it for you, because what? Back to the theme, I'm the creator. I'm the magician. So I will exchange your bags for you, and those bags you will now receive in the golden and silver ages will be the ones filled with the full inheritance, all the treasures, both internal and physical as well. So, and then he goes on to this is a very deep topic on the philosophy of karma, because this is what holds us back in the old world. And yesterday, I think we were talking about this. Baba says, the moment you take a Brahmin birth, that's it. It's your slate begins anew. Right? So your karmic accounts will automatically be wiped out or absolved, as he calls it, through remembrance. Right? But now he's saying in devotion, many people think when they do good deeds, like, I don't know, charitable works, or, donate to good causes, or actually do good, that they will get good back. He says, yes, but that's a temporary reward. But however, he says, remember, you are living in the world of Ravan, which means your belief systems And your old accounts and your old sanskaras actually drive your thoughts, your words, and your actions, which means you are sinning as you breathe. Prashant loves using this particular term, and actually it's a term which comes in the Gita as well, the Lokik Bhagavad Gita, right? You sin as you breathe. You don't have to do anything. You're just there. It's the way you think is already sinful in the base case. Because all of your actions are in Ravan's kingdom. That means actions begins with a thought. Thought is an action as well. So all your actions actually, without gyan, without self-consciousness, is in its base case sinful. But not so in the golden and silver ages. Again, why? It's perspective. Your soul conscious actions are neutral. But soul conscious actions in the confluence age becomes elevated karma. And it's only karma which can cut karma. So we have a urn of sin, right? Negative karmas are there now. So it's only elevated karmas which can supersede or override the negative karmas. And this is why Baba says, consider yourself to be souls and remember me. Because that's, when we do that, anything we do from that, automatically there is no sin attached to it. Yeah, so it's actually a very, very deep point. Yes, Danielle.
Yeah, thinking about that, I've been thinking recently about, you know, when I say, oh, thank you, Baba, or hear people say this, and I think it's actually important to be really accurate when understanding what we should be thanking Baba for and what is actually just our karmic accounts or the drama as it is. And yeah, I just wondered your thoughts on that, because I'm not always sure what I should, you know, be great, you know, you're sort of constantly grateful for Baba, but then is there anything that is happening in this physical world that actually is related to Baba directly?
Beautiful question. We were just discussing that a few weeks ago at the retreat, actually. So what we tend to do, and this is a devotional sanskara, which is what Baba is talking about today, is anything which happens in the drama which accords with our wish, right? Say, for instance, somebody is sick and you wanted to, I don't know, get them cured or whatever, and you've been praying or asking Baba, oh, you know, get them cured or what have you, right? Whatever. So whatever we have achieved by way of a fulfillment of a wish in the drama, what do we tend to do? We thank Baba, and that's fine, not a problem. But what did Mama say yesterday in the Murli? We need to go beyond happiness and sorrow. So we are deriding that happiness of a fulfillment of a wish in the drama, right? And we think because we asked Baba, that got fulfilled. But actually, that was just part of the drama, right? Baba doesn't interfere. He helps us with perspective, with knowledge, with power, with his virtues, etc., but never gets involved or interferes in the drama. This is a very good example. Somebody asked Dadi Prakashmani, and she said, "Oh, Dadi, aren't you being a bit devotional? Because every time there's going to be like a big program and there is an obstacle, like, maybe say thunder showers have been predicted, you tell everyone to sit in yoga and have yoga for the event, and to ensure that the obstacle goes away." Now, she had a beautiful answer. She said, when we have yoga, it's not for a desired outcome. It is only to give Baba the burden of the obstacle. Baba says, give me your burden. So as a human being, we view that as a burden. We view that as an obstacle. So I'm giving that obstacle to Baba, but I'm not outcome bound. You see what it is? It's a very, very subtle distinction. I'm not outcome bound. I've surrendered everything to Baba. Whatever the outcome, I'm willing to accept. This is what we do when we do yoga for particular outcomes. This is Dadi's time. Now, maybe slightly diluted, where we do, as a group, do certain outcome-based meditations. Maybe, I don't know. Right? But you're right. When we thank Baba, we thank from the bottom of our heart, no matter what's in the drama. That gratefulness should always be there. Whether I have a wish fulfilled or not should not matter. That's the route towards karmatik, where it's just a drama and it's not outcome-based. I'm not expecting an outcome from the drama. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
Like you can always be grateful to Baba for taking your burdens. So it's like if you're sitting in yoga, and you're, I don't know, worrying about something in the drama, you give that
Yes.
worry to Baba, and then you can
Right.
just be thankful you've given that worry away. And then probably the outcome is going to, I suppose the question would be, is the outcome influenced by whether you have had that yoga with Baba or not? Because
No,
he
it
doesn't
wouldn't.
directly interfere, but is that like an indirect influence? If you are then approaching the situation with less worry, with more good feelings and so on.
Yeah. In the Murli's, Baba says, when you do that, when you've given me your burdens and don't take it back, what will happen is you will have to go through whatever karmic thing has to, you have to go through whatever you have to go through, but it will only be, you will experience it to be like a pinprick as opposed to a big boulder falling on you, right? So that will be your experience. And with that account will clear. And this is why he always says, use me to clear. Right? So we give it to him, yes. There will be the consequence still there, like you saw all these dadis, towards the end. They did suffer, a lot of bodily pain, bodily illness, etc., mama inclusive, right? But the consciousness with which they went through that settlement, that clearance, Baba says, will be like a pinprick. So, just before Dadi Gulzar left her body, I think it was Gopi Ben or Jayanti Didi, I can't remember which one. They asked, they visited her in the hospital and they asked.
I guess it was
Hi, Christine.
Gopi.
Om Shanti.
Hi, Om Shanti. Yeah,
Is
it was Gopi in the class, I guess.
All right. So Gopi, Sister Gopi was sharing this. She was saying, Dadi, don't you feel pain? They're doing all these procedures on you. You know what she said? Not really. Baba has taken me, into the subtle region and for some service activities. So her consciousness was completely out whilst all these procedures being administered to her body. So the clearance is going on the one hand, but on the other hand, her service continued continuously, even though she was in a hospital bed. And this is that total surrender of the burden to Baba. Didn't feel it at all.
And what about when positive things happen? Like, for example, last week, we're trying to sell, me and my partner are trying to sell the house, like before he passes, because otherwise it's going to be a huge nightmare, like logistically. And we hadn't had any viewings for ages and ages and ages. And then I was at the house last week back in the UK, and I did some clearing of the house, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to sit down and I'm just going to like speak to Baba and just be like, you know, just because I was feeling like anxious about it, and I was like, I know it's going to be okay, and I was just kind of, yeah, like trying to give the burden, I suppose. And then literally the next day we had a viewing, and now they want it, and they also want to like do the process super quick, and it just happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I'm like, well, was that actually Baba intervening, or would that have happened anyway? And you know, it could all still fall through and whatever, but I just kind of feel like, yeah, what's predestined and what is your, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You're looking better. Pink.
Okay.
You're getting pink
Nancy.
again.
Okay. So so that was you handing over your burden of worry to Baba. And what happened there? Drama turned for you. But this is fixed in the drama. Drama is fixed, right? You can't change it. So this would have happened anyway. But you can see the change and feel the change when you actually involved Baba in the drama. He doesn't interfere, but when you use him, you will see the drama taking a turn for what is the best, right? But that's fixed. That is fixed in the drama. So that would have happened anyway.
Would it be like I would have sat down and had that yoga with Baba anyway? Like
That's fixed as well. Yes.
yeah. So because that was fixed, then it took a turn for the best.
Yes,
kind of
but
thing.
that's also fixed. If you see what I mean. The good, the bad, the happiness, the sorrow, it's all fixed in the drama. Right?
Yeah. But I wonder if I hadn't have sat down and done that, then
would it have happened?
the drama would have gone a different way. But
Don't
we'll
know.
never know because the drama was fixed that I did sit.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
So when I say
Absolutely.
thank you to Baba, I'm not saying, oh, thank you for like getting all of this done so smoothly and perfectly so far. I would just say thank you, Baba, for being there, for letting me realize that none of this really matters and taking away my worry.
Absolutely, yes. This is what I do, and actually the real thing to thank Baba for is when we are able to tolerate, to be silent when the mind is screaming to do something, or to retort, or to respond, or to be disheartened, or to cry. And when I give that to Baba, and I'm not doing anything, using any of my organs to act on that thought, that's true gratefulness to Baba. Can you see? Because I've used the power. He says, use me for that. That's actually true gratefulness. Yes, Christine.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Thank you for this example, Sister Danielle. And I just wondered, and we would never know, but if she wouldn't have sat down and meditate in this house, and could there have been another outcome?
Potentially, because you see, what's happened is it's Danielle's karma which has attracted a particular outcome. Whatever karma we do attracts an outcome. Baba says there is no altruistic soul in this world except him, right? Whatever we do, there will be a consequence.
Yeah, but this is motivating, isn't it? That
it is definitely motivating. Yes.
Yeah. Then if it's really turning turning out in a positive, always in a positive way,
Correct.
and that drama is always positively affected when we involve Baba in any case.
Correct. We just need to be careful. Positively motivated or negatively motivated, Baba wants us to come to a position where there is no definition. Whatever the outcome, it is the best. And it's the acceptance of that outcome.
Yeah, and even if we can't see it at the present moment or in that situation, but
Correct.
afterwards, it's in so many times I really found out, hey, wow, that was the best thing that could happen. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, Swati. Hi, Swati.
Yeah, I think for this, if we kind of remember Baba, and I'm like kind of going through this again and again, I think we are kind of pretty much deeply prepared of what's next coming in the drama. I don't know whether it's right or wrong in our definition or not, but somehow something Baba does in that remembrance, that we get that deeper acceptance and we get that deeper intention that something benevolent is there in that.
Yes.
And that's why other aspect with Baba also always emphasize that drama is accurate, because all this karmic law is by default ingrained in that recording of everyone.
Absolutely.
So whatever I have done according to karma, that also accordingly outcome. But that acceptance of that karmic account also come along with that Baba's remembrance. I don't know whether that makes sense or not.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, when you mentioned it, I just recall there was a 1979 Murli on this, where Baba says, the more you remember me, the more you will start to see the the goings on and the drama. It'll be revealed to you even before it happens. So whatever the scene is in the drama, your acceptance of it is absolutely complete. And I can't remember, I think it's a 1979 movie because I marked it down for revision in one of our Saturday meets. Yes, I think Amrita has been very, very cautious. Yes, you may not be careful not to be bhakti. Exactly. You know, bhakti is we pray for something and it occurs, and then we have a thanksgiving for God. That's complete bhakti. Exactly. So the very, very careful, because we are kind of on that borderline of bhakti. Remember, we were the souls who did the most bhakti. So Baba in today's movie also is really going for that bhakti sanskara in us. Although he talks about devotees, he's actually talking about that particular set of sanskaras in us.
Yeah, and that's why I want to be really careful about when I'm thanking Baba and what I'm thanking Baba for, and because I can easily see how you could go back down that devotional path.
Right. And so therefore, thanking Baba, we thank him anyway. And that's the best, you know, for whatever the mind says is good, bad, etc. Thank Baba, thank Baba, thank Baba, because the gratefulness itself is remembrance. So every which way we can, we remember Baba.
Yeah, and also this involving Baba, connecting to Baba. You know, yesterday I had one thing that really I didn't like here in this drama, and I tried to. You know, at first I was a little what is this embarrassed or wondered or and I really wanted to change this, and so next thing was, hey, in the Murli, you have to tolerate everything. Okay, this was a red flag, you know, and then sometime later yesterday, I just accepted it as it is, and it's all good, wonderful. But you know, sometimes I'm really tapping into this trap of, oh no, that's not acceptable. That's not tolerable or whatever.
But that's okay. That's the mind, right? The mind, as Baba says, even today's Murli, Maya will come. That's the Maya. It's nothing but our own mind coming and telling us all these stories and, oh, this is terrible, da, 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 da. And this is what Baba says, these are storms of Maya and they will come. They also came to Baba. Right? And Baba says, I'm the leader of these storms, as in, they all came to me first. So therefore, Baba says, don't fear them. And don't even think, oh my God, it's come. Right? And what's the solution? Remember that 24/7, 1970 Murli we read? Bindu, coming to that point. And Baba mentioned in today's Murli as well. The point. Who am I? Point. Be with the point, I'm the point, and drama is the point. The 3 dots, full stop. But the mind will carry on. So you just watch the mind, watch the games of the mind, and the mind will come up with all these various games. But the moment we start getting disheartened, that's when we are sucked into the vortex of the story which the mind is spinning with us. Yeah, that's coming up to go. So Baba always says, Maya is coming to go. But the moment we start entertaining, yes, you recognized it automatically, deploy that coming into the point. So we have many methods. The point is one of the methods, but many, many methods Baba has given us. And the first one, of course, is detached observer. So you quickly step back from it by reminding the self, Dadi Janki, who am I? Who do I belong to? And what am I here for? So that's actually a good way of handling it. I mean, all of us, storms come every day, sometimes 10 times every hour. Yes, Daniel.
It reminds me what Baba says about, the more soul conscious you become and the more you do this, the more storms will come. And I feel like, this is an example of the more you see the drama for what it is, and kind of because of that, obstacles seem to be removed, and because of your remembrance of Baba, like if you're not careful, then you can really start getting into that kind of devotional relationship with God, or even you can become very like ego-centered because you're like, oh, everything's working out my way, I'm such a powerful soul and all of this.
Yes.
Yeah, so I kind of understand like why, because I kind of never really got why Baba says it kind of gets even more storms as you go further, because I'm like, well, but you're constantly getting rid of more and more alloys, so like how can it get harder? But it's maybe because of how things are kind of changing in the drama because of your relationship with Baba.
Yes. And the second thing is, although we think that there is transformation going on inside, Maya is very insidious. It doesn't want to, I like the way Prashant says, it doesn't want to die. The mind, it's been so used to just being in its own, world of fantasy with no restraint. And now when the restraint is coming, or it perceives that there is a restraint, it will follow along for a bit. But after a while, when it actually comes to that final blow of killing the ego, it won't let go. It tenaciously clings on. And the last thing to go, as Baba says in many Murlis, is Dehaban, which is translation. It translates to body consciousness, but actually it's a deeper meaning. It's the ego of the body. I am the body. That's the last thing to go. Right. So it tenaciously hangs on to it. And this is what Baba says, even at the end, you think that certain sanskaras, certain things are gone, but they will, come up. Even for Brahma Baba, it came up at the end, where the war took place. He talked about that he could see, he was a detached observer, observing the internal war between the quiet sanskaras, whatever sanskaras were left in him, imagine with him, and of course, the original sanskaras of the soul. And automatically, because he had given so much effort into, being aware constantly of being soul, the good side, if you like, the goodies, won that battle. And so it's a swift battle, but it's very fast. And it will be worth reading that 21st Jan 1969 Murli, because this is described at length there, like how it took place. And Namrata made a good point. University students will get harder test papers, yeah. So, from the time we started Gyan, and as we progress, it only will get harder because the test papers will be harder. Because the more and more egos we shed, it's going to the deeper ones. Baba says, the anger, the hatred, that's all easy. Those are the easy peasy ones which you have let go. But it's the children of anger, that irritation, the tiny ones, it's hiding in there still. That's the test papers. Those little tiny ones, which if we don't watch now and work on, they will come back with a vengeance towards the end. So any other thoughts? Good discussion today. On today's Murli, anyway. Baba says these storms will come, so don't be afraid of them. And now he says, because he's the creator, and it's the process of creation now, and we are very few in number, Pandavas, that great war, were very few in numbers. What we need is courage. And this is what it covers in the blessing. Embodiments of authority.
And we need to welcome the storms and know that they're our best friend because they're making us stronger.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, Nancy, yes. Yes, Danielle, Swati.
Yeah, I think from today's Murli, I'm going back again and again when Baba was saying that I would first say it in Hindi that भगवान को याद करने की आदत पड़ी हुई है भक्ति मार्ग में. So in the devotional path, you already have a habit of remembrance to remember the God.
Right.
And I'm just trying to connect habits. Might be Baba is focusing on towards sanskar. So yeah, remembrance is so fundamentally recorded in our sanskar. So the moment it unfolds as a recording, there is something very fundamentally, Baba always says that this is not yoga, this is not Rajyoga, this is simple remembrance. So if I kind of end up in breakdown that remembrance, which kind of Baba is putting that this is so fundamental to the soul, then I think we can very much easy to make it natural. I don't know, this is just an open thought. I'm still
That's beautiful point you made.
Yeah, like few days back also he was telling this thing that if someone gets engaged, somehow automatically that remembrance comes. From where it comes, it was already there. Like, and in the Lokik world also nobody teaches us how to remember. This is so profound, this is so fundamental, and through that tool only Baba is trying to take us to that his state. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So he's using an existing sanskar of remembrance, which we already have from the path of devotion. We started that. And he's saying now switch that to remember the point. And that's me. Remember creation, remember who you are, etc., etc. So he's purifying that remembrance so that transformed from a remembrance based on just sorrow, based on lack, begging, beating our chest, etc., fear-based remembrance to one of authority. It says, you are my children. Everyone is a child of who's underlining that in today's movie. You're definitely a child of God, which means He's giving us authority in that remembrance. Complete 360-degree transformation.
And the way he's kind of doing it through the deeper understanding, through his, giving his yatharth knowledge or the actual, the truthful basis of it. And then it becomes very easy to go with that. Yeah, it's like very profound. It's like very deep. Like the soul don't need to learn to remember.
Yes, and it's recorded in the Brahmin souls. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, Danielle?
Yeah, it wasn't the point I was first going to make, but going on from what Swati was saying, I think this deep remembrance is kind of clouded by all the devotion we've done through the Copper Age, where we've become God-fearing and feel like we're maybe not worthy of God. And I definitely feel that now. Like sometimes I've struggled with the relationship because it's just like I just don't know if I'm deserving and all of that. And I think that's why so often in the Murlis, like God is just building us up and telling us that we're like we've attained everything and we're sweet and we're wonderful and He loves us, like always telling us that, because He knows like how it's all been twisted through the Copper Age. And it probably makes Him like very sad that that like we ever would have thought that God didn't love us or that God was punishing us.
Yes. Yeah, it's actually, when you think about it, the devotional sanskaras, we are in the grip of it. We are really in the grip of it. Even when we compare, with others, they're doing like 8 hours yoga and I'm only doing like 20 minutes. Do you know what? We start to feel, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. God loves them, God doesn't love me, etc. Yeah, hardest bit is to be so conscious of accurate remembrance. Slippery, yeah, absolutely. Slippery for everyone. 1 minute is big victory, yeah? Even 1 minute. Otherwise, easy to remember bodily beings, yes. Exactly. And this is why Baba says, don't think about it. Hi, Christine, yeah, carry on.
I'm sorry. And this is what the mind made so tired throughout this last verse, this comparison all the time and looking at others.
Yeah, exactly. And so tempted, somebody tells you, oh yeah, I achieved this by doing this. You also should do this. What does our devotional sanskaras do? Oh yes, let me do this. Of course, we can experiment, not a problem. But it's a slavish following. And this is why, Baba says, whatever you want is in the Murli. Come back to the Murli. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's not accurate. It's difficult because sometimes I do that sometimes. This is accurate. It's not accurate. And then telling myself, Mala, what are you doing? That's the mind. That's Maya. So Baba says, the moment you step beyond the mind, which means you allow it to do all its thinking, let it do what it wants. That's literally it. You come beyond it. That's what's made me realize that I've been relying on that mind changing. That's the drama mind. It will do what it wants to do. It will finally, as Baba says in the Murli today, it will finally come to rest. But right now, it's still running around like a spoiled child. Right? And I keep believing it. I keep believing my own child. So Baba says no.
Yeah, it's like let Danielle do all the worrying, comparing, feeling not worthy. Like, just let her continue with that. But the soul knows it's making progress when the soul can watch that and not identify with it. You're not trying to stop all of that happening. It's bound to happen because we're in a Ravan Iron Aged environment with Iron Age Sanskars, but like you can, it's just that detachment, isn't it? Again, dying
That's
alive
detachment.
thing.
Yeah. Brij Mohan Bhai said, he said, it's like when you drive a car. I know, Daniel, you're not into Madhuban, but in Madhuban it's very hilly. When you're driving to from the railway station or whatever up the mountain, you'll sometimes feel the car is going down, a valley or something, and you feel as if you're going down, but you're thinking, I'm supposed to be climbing this, why am I going down? He says it'll go up and down, but you know that your destination is up there and your car will definitely take you there. Although it's going up and down valleys and troughs and what have you. Your destination is set and you will definitely get there.
Yeah. It's so nice when Baba often says, you're definitely going to the God, like you're definitely definitely
Yes.
happening.
Correct. It's just the mind doesn't believe it. The mind knows it, but the mind doesn't accept it or believe it. And this is what's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you all. Any other final thoughts, final observations? Miss Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shanti.
Thank you.